This is Vancouver's tower, the Harbour Centre, and it's one of Canada's best kept secrets. From the most intimate place to appreciate and connect to the city, to one of the flashiest and most romantic dining experiences in town, whether for a date night or a casual meal. This was once the tallest structure in Vancouver's skyline and has watched over the city for nearly half a century. This tower is often overlooked by locals, right in plain sight, and that's what today's story is all about. This series is all about uncovering the best kept secrets of Canada, from world-class meals from top-notch chefs to the greatest adventures that you've never heard of. And whether it's stunning landscapes or breathtaking vistas, this series is all tied together by the history that built our country. By air, by land, or by sea, regardless of how I'm getting there, I'm digging deep to take you along for a ride unlike any other. And today's focus is Vancouver's only remaining observation deck and revolving restaurant, Harbour Centre. And to truly appreciate it, we have to rewind back to 1928. In 1928, the land that Harbour Centre sits on was home to Spencer's department store, a retail giant of the day, standing proudly across the street from Waterfront Station, the focus of last week's video. Now, 1948 saw Spencer's sold to Eaton's, which was one of Canada's biggest retail powerhouses, which would rebrand the store under its banner shortly thereafter. But the real transformation arrived in the 1970s. Eaton's would opt to move into the newly opened Pacific Centre Mall just 2 blocks away, and another department store, Sears, would purchase the building, and from what I was able to find online, they tore down the western half of the building to make space to construct a 28-story office tower, but what would make this tower special was the UFO-shaped observation deck and revolving restaurant atop of it. The tower would complete and open in 1977 as the Sears Tower, and believe it or not, Neil Armstrong, the first man to walk on the moon, cut the ribbon for the official grand opening. The tower was the tallest building in Vancouver upon opening, at 44 stories and 550 feet tall from the antenna tip to West Cordova Street down below. And to put that in perspective, if you stood the Titanic upright, the Harbour Centre would measure nearly 2/3 of the ship's length. Now, for over 3 decades, it would reign as the tallest structure in the province. That was until the Shangri-La opened in 2009, surpassing it. But today, the building has been rebranded as Harbour Centre. Its offices fill the lower floors, but the real magic lies at the top, with the Vancouver Lookout and the top of Vancouver Revolving restaurant. I have lived in Vancouver for 3 years now, and I can't tell you how many locals that I've conversed with that have never heard of the tower or experienced it. So let's fix that. Whether you're a local or a tourist, the Lookout is just a quick walk away from Waterfront Station, which sees nearly 100,000 people walk through its doors every single day. And upon entering the tower, you'll board into one of their 2 glass elevators, both of which will take you to the top, and at the observation tower level, this is what you'll see. Now, this is the city's 3rd and final surviving observation deck, and a vantage point that has witnessed Vancouver's skyline evolve dramatically over nearly 50 years since it opened. Now, first off, the Lookout is air-conditioned, which is very rare in the city of Vancouver for building code, and especially if you're visiting in the summer, they have free Wi-Fi and a great lounge to kick back and take in the scenery at your pace. From Gastown and the downtown east side, this was once occupied by the Canadian Pacific freight yards, to now completely engulfed shoulder to shoulder with high-rise apartments. And to the west in False Creek, once was home to loads of industry, a sawmill and logging, which is pretty much completely unrecognizable today. Or Cole Harbour and the waterfront, which was once the western hub for dozens of Canadian Pacific steamships and passenger trains, now taken over by skyscraping towers, and the Vancouver seawall that runs around Stanley Park. or the Marine Building, which was the city's first observation tower in town that opened in 1930, once dominant in the skyline, but today is almost completely covered. And call me Captain Obvious because obviously things have changed a lot over the years, but this is still the best wallpaper anywhere in town, with a 360-degree perspective of the entire city. From right here on the Vancouver waterfront, or to the north across the Burrard Inlet and the peaks of the North Shore Mountains in North Vancouver, or the container port of Vancouver that moved almost 3.5 million sea cans last year alone. To the west, you'll see the Lions Gate Bridge, which was the first bridge to connect Vancouver to the North Shore when it opened in 1938, and is named after those same Lions peaks I just mentioned, and that are said to watch over the entire city. Hence the bridge being named the gateway to the Lions on the other side, and also why the BC Lions CFL football team is named the Lions. Now speaking of, the BC Lions play at BC Place, which is easily the most recognizable icon from up here. It was also the first structure built on the old Canadian Pacific Falls Creek freight yards in 1980. Now today, its iconic roof turns into a giant lantern at night. It's pretty cool, and especially when they end up opening up the roof for concerts. And on clear days, just to the left of it, you can actually see the glacier-capped Mount Baker over 140 kilometers away in Washington State. A few other cool landmarks that I like include the Ironworkers Memorial Bridge, which was named in honor of the 19 men that died during the bridge's collapse in 1958. And I could go on and on, whether it's my favorite building in the city, Vancouver's Railway Hotel, the Hotel Vancouver, being only visible right there by the top by its chimneys sticking up above. Or even the cargo ships and tankers parked off in English Bay in the background. The Dominion Building, which was the city's first skyscraper in 1909, or the Sun Tower, which surpassed it 3 years later in 1912. And how could I forget about the world-famous Gastown steam clock, which is a bit buried behind the trees right here, but super easy to identify by the crowd of tourists around it, and you can even hear its chimes from up here in the lookout behind the glass. There is truly so much to see up here, and it will keep you busy for hours, and at only $20 a ticket, it may actually be one of the best deals in town. But if the lookout gives you perspective, if you go one floor higher, the top of Vancouver Revolving Restaurant gives you something else entirely. A world-class dining experience. Now the top of Vancouver is the city's only remaining revolving restaurant, but there was another one about a decade and a half ago called Cloud 9. It was situated just west of the Hotel Vancouver with a phenomenal view over English Bay, but it ended up being closed and demolished in 2009 due to decades of neglect and mismanagement, which really comes back to emphasize just how good of a job they've done at the Harbour Centre with how old the building is and how well maintained and well kept it is, and especially with a brand new renovation. Although yes, I'm sure the views over English Bay were great at Cloud 9, this revolving restaurant is nothing short of stunning. The entire dining room glides gracefully, completing a full revolution every 45 minutes at lunch or 60 minutes at dinner, and powered by just a single horsepower motor on over 350 wheels. Now, tonight was my first time ever being up here, and I was hoping that roughly 30 minutes before the sunset would work out and provide an unreal visual, and spoiler alert, I could not have timed it any better. Look like you want to kill me with that look. There we go. For starters, we got a few things. The roasted beef bone marrow with Belgian waffles and chimichurri sauce, as well as a flash-cooked Wagyu beef carpaccio with truffle oil. Now the bone marrow and waffles was easily my hands-down favorite, and honestly one of the best starters I've ever had in my life. The chimichurri was an incredible combo, balancing the sweet with the savory, the salty, and the freshness of the herbs of the sauce. Again, this is easily one of the most creative combinations I've seen in quite some time. The beef was super rich and fatty, just the way I like it. And with truffle oil, it was exceptional, and honestly, two absolute world-class starters, if I do say so myself. For mains, we went big. A 16-ounce ribeye steak, cooked rare, paired with a full Atlantic lobster, king crab legs, grilled shrimp, and clarified butter. Truly surf and turf at its absolute finest. And I mean, it's going to be hard to beat a great steak and perfectly cooked seafood. But when you couple that with the greatest seat in town to witness the best wallpaper changing in real time that is never the same twice, I don't know if there is a better curated date night spot than right here. And as the sun began to sink below the horizon, with the mountains fading into a silhouette off in the distance, as the city lights began to come to life into the forefront, as the ocean only amplified that fiery orange sunset, it's a seriously unforgettable experience. And we all know that there is always room for dessert, and the go-to desserts it is, and that is creme brulee. Plus their brand new Italian hazelnut cake to go with their brand new menu to complement the renovated dining room. Both were pretty good, but creme brulee is always my go-to, and come on, you gotta have a black coffee to finish. All in all, I cannot say enough positive things about this dining experience at the top of Vancouver. I was blown away by the food. The setting is unmatched, the environment, and just how that late summer sunset really romanticizes the entire experience. It's seriously something that is, I said it before and I'll say it again, truly unforgettable. But maybe you're not looking for a romantic date night spot and you just want a chance to appreciate the city somewhere more laid back. Well, lunch at the Revolving restaurant gives you a chance to truly see everything and appreciate the details of it. Pretty much everything on the menu is scratch made, from lobster rolls to steak frites, tuna tartare, or the perfect lunchtime pick-me-up, affogato, which is a shot of espresso pulled and served hot over an ice-cold vanilla ice cream. I literally cannot think of a better place to take your mom, or maybe even take your grandma out for lunch. And listen, if you don't want to take them, I'll take them. There is just no better place in the city, and to be honest, I've had a little bit of an unhealthy obsession with this place since. One of the things that makes the top of Vancouver and the Vancouver Lookout all in Harbour Centre different than the other observation towers throughout the world, you have people. You have, what's a dude over there just suntanning on the roof, not too long, but you can make out the individual faces, and there's a level of intimacy that the Lookout and the top of Vancouver have that a lot of the other observation towers don't. You get fantastic food, fantastic company, fantastic service with, a wallpaper that is forever evolving as it has since 1977. This is one of the best kept secrets, best hidden gems in all of Vancouver. But now a quick word from today's video sponsor, Sheath Underwear. Sheath redefines underwear for men. From the dual pouch compartment to separate your cannoli and your mozzarella so that nothing touches, and ultimately will leave you fresher for longer. Couple that with their bamboo mesh that breathes like nothing you've ever experienced before. Why are you wearing the ripped underwear that you have on now that doesn't stretch back anymore? Make an investment that'll actually pay off, and I'll make it even easier for you to do so by getting you 20% off the greatest underwear on this planet with my code TRAV, that's TRAV, my name. So click that link in the video description and use the code TRAV, my name, for 20% off Sheath underwear today. And thank you so much to Sheath for sponsoring this video and making this series possible. Now, whether you come here to relax on the observation deck or dine and indulge against one of the best backgrounds in town, never mind one of the most intimate, the Harbour Centre offers something truly unique. If you're a tourist, you will not find a better perspective of the mountains from anywhere in town. And if you're a local, where else can you see every square inch of your city from one spot? And hey, if you're like me and you love people watching, this is one of the few observation towers you'll see where you can actually make out faces and communicate with the outside world around you, as opposed to being so high up that nothing is recognizable. So come to Harbour Centre and experience one of Canada's best kept secrets here in Vancouver. But that's where this video ends, but I do want to know, have you ever been to the Harbour Centre? Did you ever dine at Cloud9, the other revolving restaurant in town before it was demolished in 2009? Whatever it is, leave it in the comments section below because I would love to hear it. I want to say thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more of Canada's best kept secrets next week, just like this. I'll see you next week.